welcome back. It is episode number 62 of the Abomination Vaults, done by us, lot of weirdos and muppets. The wonderful crew that I've got here for Random Encounter. We are working our way through the final bits. We've just had a nice little episode of dealing with some of the consequences of the actions that they have managed to perform. These are at least positive consequences, not negative ones like they've had previously. But
surprise, really.
yeah, it is a bit of a surprise. But they are ensconced in town and have had a night's rest and got themselves fully healed up and everything else. We are going to, at some point, be heading back into the caverns underneath town. However, I have a small request that people go and have a chat with a wonderful character that we've known right from the very beginning. So we might well be heading off to see Rin in just a second or two. But just wanted to sort of highlight a couple of things. Again, I don't do this all the time, but I'm going to do it this time. We are using a number of features and stuff to allow us to play this game. The first thing is we are using Foundry VTT, my personal favourite. I know I've kind of slowly but surely convinced a number of people that it's really good. We are using the Paizo official Abomination Vaults map packs and pre-built stuff and all the rest of it that they put in here. And I love these maps. I think they're really well done, so highly recommend that. If you are already into Pathfinder on Foundry, by all means go and have a look at the Paizo stuff. And it's got Sirenscape sound embedded into it, so we use that as well. So we've got the music, do loads of stuff, enjoy this tons and tons. So speaking of which, we can swing ourselves over. I'm going to just jump the players back over to the Atari map because we're going to do some stuff in Atari. Okay, come on. There we are. Right, there we go. There we go. The game screen, the game screen is not loading on there. Just a moment, everybody, while I just figure out what the heck's happened to the OBS window, because it was working just a second ago and now it's not. Right, pause it. There we go, that's better. A little bit of a problem with OBS, but we're back at it. So we are going to join in at the point where the dawn has occurred. As a group, you have managed to rouse yourselves from your various bunks at the Crook's Nook, and with a extra shield sort of in tow, as it were. Your night was pretty good, all things considered. The first time in a while that you've actually rested on a bed. You had at least one night sleeping on the floor in what appeared to be a kitchen, or at least once upon a time was a kitchen, and I've had a couple of fairly rough nights in terms of actual accommodation. But this time, even though it might have been a bunk room with all of you sharing the same space, it was at least a bed. Is there anything other than the obvious, because I know somebody's already asked, that people want to do this morning?
I'm going to pick up a half thought with a couple of ones that happens to be available for service.
So, Inva had the main objective, I believe, of this morning. You wanted to go and see Rin, is that right?
I did, yes.
Okay. You head north, up through the town, to the collection of fake standing stones that sit around the space that Rin uses as a shop, almost like a campsite sort of affair. The tent type building at the centre, which is her shop, is open to the air, or no real roof on it, other than the area in which she sleeps. And she's sort of tinkering around with her shop wares and bits and pieces as you step in. Ah, Inva, how are you doing?
I have been both better and worse. How about you, Ren?
Oh, I am more or less myself. I cannot complain. There is, it is perceptible that last night the blue light from the gaunt light was turned off. I assume yourself and the companions I asked you to take up for me. I assume that it is them and yourself that dealt with that.
We did. We freed one of the townspeople, actually.
I've heard that Lasta is back.
An
Is
altar.
that?
Yes. Yes, his life force was being used to power the Gauntlet.
Well, it would appear that whatever is happening at the Gauntlet, whoever is in control of all of this, seems to not like our town so much.
Perhaps. I'm not sure it's that personal. I don't know. No, I wanted to talk to you. You know I've spent my life searching for why I'm here.
Yes,
Why am I back as this?
yes.
I died on that table.
The same table you say you found Lester on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am never one to believe in coincidences. The stars align for a reason.
You called me back here though. Why?
I get insights from what I see. As I said, the stars align for a reason. Nephi might be able to tell you a little bit more. I have been training her.
Skepticism, just for the record.
I have been training her in the cosmic caravan. This is the way that the stars move with each other and how they can predict aspects of the future. Perhaps it is fair to say that the ability to divine absolute truth in the future is gone, but the cosmic caravan can give us a road to walk down. At least we are not blind when we move down it. It is fair to say my reason for calling on you was simply because the road before me said that perhaps this was the path that you needed to walk down, but I did not know what you would find.
I found an answer. It has probably left me with rather more questions than I perhaps started with.
Then at least there is one thing I can say to you. You have found part of an answer within the Gauntlet. There is at least a reasonable chance that the rest of the answer is there as well.
Yes, but I'm not sure I want it.
Well, this is a change. You have desired this for a very long time.
I assumed that I was good, for lack of a better term. And I'm not sure that was true.
Can I ask you a simple question? And I hope it is one, maybe you have thought of the answer before, whether or not you have discarded it or not is entirely up to you. Do you think that Lasta did what he did willingly?
No, I don't think he did, but I know I did.
Are you sure?
Yes, I went to that table willingly, but I don't know why.
But magic is a very strange thing. One thing is for certain. There are those that are powerful enough that they can make whatever you want. What actually they want. have an answer? Do you know for
No.
certain that you wished for what happened to you? Or did it just
Well,
seem that way in your memory?
I believe that at the time I was happy to go with Belcorra. Where that happiness came from, I don't know. Whether that was mine or whether that was something she had implanted.
Well, you can choose to believe one way or the other, or you can look further. I leave that up to you.
Both as insightful as frustrating as ever. Thank you, Rin.
I do my
Genuinely.
best. Now,
Still not asking nothing.
that is up to you. She is smarter than she lets on. A lot of her silliness is by design.
Oh, tell me something I didn't know. That's the problem.
Ah, well, each to their own, I guess. I find it quite endearing.
You try keeping her alive in a dungeon.
Oh well, no.
She's
that
alive
is-
because of my loyalty to you, for what it's worth.
I will take that. Have a productive day, Amber.
Have a satisfying one.
I will remember that. Okay.
I like to imagine that you have that conversation and you come outside and Neffy is doing something ridiculous outside the tent. Like licking a rock or something.
Hey, my kid literally stuck his fingers in the ice in the freezer in the supermarket and licked it and told me it was delicious today. I got nothing.
Fair.
Impressive, impressive. Okay, Moz. Relatively early, because you know that the way that things are, you head over to the barracks, where you find Longsaddle, who appears to be in a bit of a rush, and it's very difficult to tell with Longshadow when he is in a bit of a rush, because his responses are more or less the same as when he's not in a bit of a rush. But there's a certain tonality that you remember from being part of Abomination in the past. And he kind of looks at you, and he just, what?
Just to say that over the last couple of weeks ago, I was town. If we've just taken away something that's giving them power, then they're probably going to be wanting to come back and pick somebody else up. There's only one good way out of town. It might be worth somebody quiet that's keeping an eye on it more often than not of a night. Just a thought.
Fair enough. Right. I've got to go talk to that lad that you brought back. Yeah. Alright. He's walking out and you can hear him under his breath going, bloody heroes, don't understand sorting out things. What's that?
Just giving him time and space to figure his life out, not knowing, well, I'm guessing that Longsaddle's got a lot on his mind, so yeah, it's just a case of solving. Got a thought maybe to save us some trouble. There's only one other way to sneak someone out of town, that's through the ghouls, so I think we close that one up.
Yep. Yep. More or less. More or less. Okay. Right. So, after your little meetings, you get yourselves back together, probably at the Crux Nook, most likely. And the discussion comes about of where you're headed next. Now we did.
Oh,
And we're back. We're recording. Good. Right. So yes, we did this. We did discuss this a little bit offline, but for the most part, you guys, you have a few options ahead of you. The ones that we kind of discussed and the ones that we've mentioned was there are two creatures that are still alive on that floor that you know of. The first is the poltergeist that tried to throw
alive.
yeah, alive, not dealt with. There's the poltergeist that tried to shove Neffy down a well. Well, for want of a better term.
Well, actually.
Yeah, well, actually. And a void glutton, which is in Belcorra's chambers, which both of them gave you a bit of a problem, let's be fair. Followed on to that, there are also a couple of areas that you have not been. You have not been to the blue glowy wall of magic and spirits and all of that sort of malarkey. Nor have you been to what you now know probably is some sort of waste pit. At least from the kitchen, it looks like they had a chute to throw garbage down, which was the thing that Neffy almost fell into. And you are now relatively well aware that the mud and horrible lump of fungus and whatever else that was in the chambers, the cave chambers, is probably the end of that pit.
So we could theoretically go and get Neffy's crossbow back, assuming it hasn't dissolved into goo.
Yes.
Without fighting the bulk boost.
Yes, indeed. You could indeed, in theory, have a look at what's there and check to find out if Neffy's crossbow was back. So, as a general consensus, we did discuss this, did check, and I did ask this question beforehand, but just letting everybody know, I believe the plan was to go and look for the crossbow. Are we fully agreed with this as the general plan, even though that there are other things? Good, because that's where I've put all of your tokens. So let's let's go with that, shall we? So we're going to very quickly. We're just going to activate this scene again.
Oh, there's also the very upset lady with the chains.
Yeah, that was the floor above, but absolutely,
Was it?
You certainly could. Yeah, that's the floor above.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. Hang on. No, you are right. The upset lady with the chains is indeed on this floor. So we haven't looked at that. One thing that we did gloss over is how you got out of this place. Don't worry, I have an idea of how you got out of here. That wouldn't have triggered anything that potentially could have been triggered. So we'll live with it as is. The other thing I haven't got on any of you guys is a torch, which I'm sure at least one of you should have. So let's put
Yes, because I've got an ever burning torch in my shield stomp.
So we are
purely so the badger can see.
Yep, we are down here. We have this greenish pool to the south of you. A rusty metal chute protrudes from the ceiling to the west here, coming to an end over a pool of slimy water. A huge mound of fungus lies under the tube against the west wall, resting in a strangely monstrous shape. And adding to that description is that on top of that mound is a crossbow. Not looking in the best of conditions, but not looking broken. It's covered in goo and slime and various other bits and pieces, but it is most definitely still there. You're
What, does Boz want to hook it with his halberd? Or is Neffy just going to jump straight in wearing a schoolgirl outfit?
I was thinking of tying a rope to it just in case the man absconds.
Too late, she's in. She's getting that crossbow back.
What I will state for the record, in addition to that, is let me just check if it's all of you or or not. Yeah. All of you do also notice the fact that there is light coming from the tunnel to the south of you. Okay? So there is a light. And it seems to be that it moves. So it is not a regular light comes out of the room in a nice simple pattern against the wall. But every now and again, it's like the light is shifting round. Like whatever source of light there is mobile. Okay? So that's something that you do note from the tunnel to the south of you. I am going to, however, get rid of the gulls singing and all the rest of it that's happening at the moment, because that is most definitely not the music that should be playing down here. And we'll go with this instead. Okay. Right. Neffy, are you just jumping in?
Yeah.
I really need to run alien for you folks.
Right, Neffy. You, with a bit of effort, in fact, can you make an athletics check for me, please? And you can roll it. I want to see how covered in slime you end up.
Say athletics, not acrobatics.
Athletics.
Got ya.
This is climbing.
17 plus 8.
Okay.
5?
25. You don't really have much of a problem getting up onto this creature, or this thing. Sorry, this thing. Before
Oh no!
going further. And you retrieve your crossbow. What you realise as you're climbing up this is that I say creature for a very, very specific reason. Well, kind of. There's the remains of a creature. What's your occultism skill like?
Oh, I'm trained plus 11.
Plus 11. Okay, let me. Oh yes, more than enough. More than enough. You do actually manage to identify this thing, and you are exceptionally glad that it isn't that it's dead. So, what you realise is that once upon a time, I mean, you would have been able to deal with it. To be fair, it's not a massively more powerful creature than you are, but there's something called there was something called an Otyugh in here. An Otyugh is an aberration aberrant creature, standard sort of dungeon things, and they live off of waste. Of all sorts. Quite a lot of dungeons, in fact, employ Otyughs as a means to clean their latrine systems and things like that, because they will happily survive on waste food and all the rest of it. And clearly at some point this area was kept clean, the waste tube was kept clean by a tamed, an Otyugh that would have lived in here. But that is long dead. And the mound that you are currently climbing on is its corpse, covered in mould and various other bits and pieces. You retrieve your crossbow, no problems whatsoever. You can have that back on your sheet. That is fine. If all else fails, I'll add it back on, because I can't remember if I deleted it off your character or not.
You did.
I possibly did.
Yeah.
And we'll prestidigitation gunge off clothes and crossbow.
Yeah, that's fine. So use a
I
bit of
know,
prestidigitation.
it's on my. Sorry, no, it's on my sheet. I just wasn't using it.
Yep, that's cool. Okay, so yeah, that is there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And you are left with this position then of knowing that there is something going on to the south of you.
Is that where we heard the scream from?
So no, the scream
No.
was Laster.
Oh yes, of course it was. Yeah. Oh. So I'm more like over here then.
Well, probably.
We go
Reasonably.
investigate. Can we go poke and find out?
Well, let's go and say hello. They might be friendly.
Stealth.
Right, you are stealthing up, are you? I best make a little bit of a roll. Is anybody doing anything else like scouting, observing, searching for traps, all that sort of stuff?
I shall keep my eye out for things.
Okay. Neffy, you start stealthing up forwards. I've noted that you are already well on your way to being in the room, and you can see something. Thankfully, it does not see you. You are stealthy enough, with its natural cast of light, it doesn't notice the light coming near it or anything else like that. But one of those skulls that floats around with light around it, you know, the will-o-wisp that you saw in the last room that you were in, there's another one of those, but there's also two creatures that you've also recently seen before as well. The flicker wisps, the ones that can confuse and distract people. However, in addition to that, the chamber heads down into the south into a pool area with these three creatures bimbling around, as well as heading even further to the east, where at this point in time you can see green light moving around in exactly the same style, those sort of wispy lines that you have seen every time you have found signs of Atari. So, something down here relates to Atari. You're pretty certain. You know, you've seen these green lines that form writing on the wall before. You've seen all of this stuff before. You are convinced that somewhere down here there must be some more sign of him. And that's what you see from where you are. So far, none of these creatures have noticed you. They're just moving around the room, flitting about. What they're feeding off of, now that's an interesting question.
I really just want to tell Shockwave. I relay the information to the team, so I probably would have backed up a little bit to tell the rest of them what's going on.
Okay. By all means, take that back to the rest of the group. See what they say.
I mean, do we attack it?
Like, we did do some fighters earlier. Some guys.
It's the wisps that I'm concerned about.
They were a bit of a problem. So I recall they turned my head on.
So, yeah.
What can we remember about what to do with them?
GM, come together,
You want me to
Before
roll
we
the-
go hit things.
Oh, that seems a little bit... No, that's fine. Okay, so they are both off of occultism. Let me do the rolls. Yeah, I mean, between all of you, you pull your knowledge. So, the first thing you know is that the flicker wisps they're pretty weak in comparison to what you are now. So individually, they are not that strong. Their big thing is that they actually don't feed off of fear; they feed off of confusion. And what they tend to do is they tend to bound around somebody's head, strobe lighting, and doing funny things with their lights to confuse a victim, and then they feed off of that confusion. If you recall, this was why you ended up hitting the badger. In one of our lost episodes, the Flickerwisp that was outside was able to confuse Mosran just the last second, and then Mosran, after killing the Flickerwisp even under confusion, turned around and started hitting the rest of the party.
Like hitting the badger.
Specifically, Olrin got it in the face a couple of times. So this is what they do. They are, however, in most cases, they are very similar then to will-o-wisps in that they don't take damage from magic in any way, shape, or form. Apart from very specific spells, so Fairy Fire can affect them, Gust of Wind can affect them, Magic Missile can affect them, Maze can affect them, but after that they are pretty much magic immune.
I'm not going to cack a fireball in there.
No, and they normally they emit light. Certain things that they do can cause them to lose that light and therefore become invisible. So there is something to deal with in that one. Effectively, yeah, they can choose to, I believe, turn off the glow. Oh no, they can't actually turn that off. I don't think. There might be a way that they can deal with it, but I can't see it right off the top of my head. Right, so there's that. The will-o-wisp is slightly more of a problem. Okay, so the will-o-wisp can, they glow as well. They can feed on fear. They tend to go after things that are dying or have the fear effect on them. And when they are, what they will try to do, generally speaking, is they will try and do things like, hurt people until they fall over. So that's their kind of big thing, and then feed off the fear of that person. Individually, as they are, the will-o-wisp is the more dangerous. Much stronger, much harder to hit. The flicker-wisps should be fairly simple, but obviously with the will-o-wisp hanging around, you've got to pick and choose your target. Do you want to deal with the two small things as fast as possible? Or do you want to go in against the big target while those little things are potentially annoying you? Outside of that, they don't really do a lot else. They're not really immune to anything. I mean, I said they're not really immune to anything. They're obviously immune to magic, but they're not immune to things on weapons like fire effects and things like that. So you're having to hit them, but the advantage you've got here is there isn't a blue beam zapping you every time you try and every round you try and stay in the room.
If we're gonna do it, I think we should do it. That's if we're gonna do it.
Monster.
Right. You bunch of reprobates. Move yourselves to where you want to be before you start the fight. If you move too close, I will make checks to see if you are being hidden enough. So just be aware of that. Neffy can get away with being closer because Neffy has already been sneaky. Is that where everybody's starting? It already is. Okay.
I am going to draw my shield, raise my shield.
So
before we
you are
start.
going in with shield raised. That is actually an action, and that is perfectly fine. But you will need to roll your perception for your initiative. Okay, we are going to.
Do the wibbly thing, Mike. Do the wibbly thing. Do the wibbly thing.
Where did I put my dice? Over there.
The wibbly thing to halberd.
Wibbly things to halberds. That's a spell that you
Still
want.
hasn't increased my AC though. Or is it?
Because you need the effect added to the character.
No.
Um, so don't worry about it. It's a... There you go.
Done it.
Yep. And that drops at the start of a turn normally, but obviously for this one
Yep.
it won't. Okay, right. Are you going to cast a spell on Mosran's stick that does the extra damage before you go in as well?
Probably should.
Okay. Right, so just be aware of that. I'm going to highlight all the things that are going to be...
Echoing weapon.
That's the one. Toggle the combat stance. Pause the video. We'll be back in a second. Let's roll initiative. Okay. We're back. With the music starting and the weird whispers, because I've got things selected that are in that room, which is... There's ambient noise, by the way, in this chamber, so if you've got your token selected and you're inside these chambers, you should hear some fancy noises. Okay, Neffy, let's start with you.
Okay. 18 plus 11 plus 1, so what's that? 30.
Yes. Moss.
An 18 plus 10 plus 2 for being incredibly initiative is around 20.
Okay. Inva.
16 plus 9 plus 1 for 26, please.
26. And lastly, Phelan.
I rolled poorly.
Oh,
I only got 20.
only got 20. Okay, well that's fine. To start things off then in this encounter is Neffy.
Wait, things haven't acted. This is what I'm made for!
Uh-huh. Now, are you using your crossbow or are you going to go with your stabby?
I know, that was what I was just thinking. I was like, oh no, I have choices. Honestly, going in stabbing is probably the best bet. It does more. Okay, hang on. Wait, that does... I can't remember what they do if they haven't gone, I get stuff.
They are flat-footed to you. If they haven't gone, they are flat-footed to you.
Oh,
Okay. Now you've got the choice here. You've got your striking crossbow, your striking rapier. They both do roughly the same damage. So it depends on if you want to get close or not.
Or if you want to taunt one back.
Yep, there is that. You knew you were going into a fight, so you've definitely got it loaded.
yeah, okay, yeah, I'll shoot instead of... I'm going to shoot the more dangerous one.
Okay. Then please, by all means, make an attack roll.
Where is it? That is a 26.
That is just a hit. But they're flat-footed, so you are going to be rolling, I believe, because I don't think your sneak attack has gone up yet.
It has.
It has?
I'm level 5.
Surprise attack is now... Sorry, sneak attack is
2d6.
going to be 2d6 for sneak attack now, is it? So
Yeah,
you're
so
rolling. You're rolling 4d6 damage then.
And I'm adding 1, is that right?
I don't believe so. The plus one
According
is
to this, is it?
the plus one is to attack. It shouldn't be.
No, it's plus 1 for damage because I've gone up with strength.
No, ranged weapons do not gain.
Oh
any
yeah,
bonus
sorry, I'm
damage.
looking at the wrong one.
Yeah.
That's why. I was looking at my rapier and I was like, no.
No.
Ignore me.
No, just 4d6 damage. Just 4d6 damage.
Only.
Okay, so... 18.
18 points of damage just to get started. Sure, why not? You have 2 actions left.
I reload.
Mm-hmm.
And I shoot again.
You're gonna... Okay, fair enough.
Oh, why did I close that? That was really stupid. That tells me what I add to it. And that is.
You're about a 9 to your second attack.
Thank you. 27.
That is
Not
also
me
a hit.
counting.
That is also a hit. It is still flat-footed to you, so it is still 4d6 damage.
Oh, that's awesome. So, 9, 10, 11, 13 points of damage.
Okay, and a
I
further
know, it's going to come into me.
13 points of damage. I mean, you're not wrong, because it is next.
Oh, no.
So, you are not wrong. It is indeed going to come moving over to you for its first action. And it is very much going to try and electrocute you.
Rude.
So it's going to do a shock attack on you. 7 on the dice with a plus 17 for a 24 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. You will take 12 points of damage. I'm going to do that. It's then going to go dark. And fundamentally, it becomes invisible.
Oh, goody.
But you have a rough idea of where it is. So it is not invisible to you, it is only hidden to you. Because you know it can't have moved from there. But still a flat check to hit it. Okay. Inva, it is your turn.
If I dump an area effect on it, I don't have to care about whether it's visible or not, do I?
Barring the fact that it's immune to magic.
Okay, which means the echoing weapon was a waste of time, because I knew it was immune to magic, so there's no way I should have cast it.
I will allow for that. I will say that that is indeed true, if you wouldn't have cast it.
Thank you. Are the other things immune to magic? The
Yes,
wisps?
they all are.
Oh, rubbish. I had entirely missed that point. Right.
So, what we need, right, are grenades. Non-magical
Unfortunately,
grenades.
I threw my thunderbolt to get rid of the worm guy.
Mm-hmm.
My thunderstone.
Then we shall see about getting some more.
I mean, we could just leave.
We could do this, we got this.
God damn it. Ooh, can I intimidate them without knowing exactly where they are?
You tend to need line of sight, but I will say that you can do the flat check to target them because you know roughly where it is. So if you do a 5 or higher on a d20, then you know its location enough that you can fundamentally stare at the space to try and intimidate the creature.
19 then.
Yeah, so you know exactly where it is. It's kind of like it's got small outline of electricity where it just did that shock. You can still see that. So there's enough knowledge for you to know where it is. So if you make the intimidate check now.
Intimidation check. Yeah. 17 and 13 for 30, please.
That is enough to intimidate the wisp. So yes. Wherever it is, you know it's frightened.
Okay.
the little ball of
Stuff.
crackling electricity shrinks ever so slightly.
Okay. I'm going to use an action to raise my shield again at the
Yep,
end of my turn.
yep.
And I'm going to attempt to sneak a bit closer.
Okay. Moving closer is not a problem.
But I'm going to try and sneak. So,
Okay, so you remain hidden from anything else that might be able to perceive you.
Yep.
Okay, yep, that's fine. I have a roll for that. I have a value. Not a problem.
okay.
Okay, next up is one of the other creatures that's in this room. The downside is they can't get to you. It's got an acrobatics of 8. Let's see, can it tumble past Neffy? What is your reflex DC, please? No, fortitude DC, sorry. For this.
That's 9.
So plus 9 becomes a 19. Okay. So this one here is going to zip past you at speed. It's then going to try and flicker at you. Can you please make a will saving throw?
Sorry, me?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Oh, that's pretty good. A will?
Yeah.
28.
Okay. That is a critical success. Do not worry. Do not concern yourself with any matter of this problem. You are also immune to this creature. So it cannot try and do that to you again. That is all of its actions. It is now... So choice here, it is Mosran or Phelan's turn. Which way round you guys want.
It's probably better being Muslim.
Okay.
There's not an awful lot I can add to this.
Just make sure it's the right
You can
person
do
to-
the valuable job of picking up the pieces afterwards.
Okay, Moz, your turn.
Okay, I will more boldly step up behind Neffy. Has the wispy thing been pointed out? Or am I looking to see if I can spot it?
You would need to roll a DC 5 flat check. Yeah, to see the main one.
It was a DC what, sorry?
5.
So I rolled. You know what? We're not starting the fight off with a 4 against a 5. I'm gonna hero point that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 8. It's an 8 on the second round.
Okay. 8 in total. Yeah, so
is it
for the flat
adding
check, that is
perception, or is it
no, that's it. It's just a flat dice roll. So that is an 8 is fine. 8 is a success. So you now try and hit it. Make a attack roll.
Yep, for me cheat sheet. So that is an 18 on the dice plus. Is it 13? It isn't. It is plus 16, so that's 24, 34 to hit.
Yep, that's a hit. Not quite a crit, but very close.
Choose 10. We've got 12 plus 4.
12 plus 4. Okay. It's still there. You can still see the crackle of energy, but only just.
I'm good to hit it straight up again, or do I need to try and spot it for a second time?
You'd have to try and spot it again.
In that case, then I will attempt to take cover.
Okay. Not a problem. It's at this point that the green light down the corridor seems to suddenly flash with light. And Nephi, all of a sudden in front of you, that light coalesces into a single form. And that form looks something like this. And he turns to you and goes, "Ah, friends, at last. Atari will stand by your side, and I will fight away these creatures. And we will, finally, free my spirit." And that is where we will stop on this episode. We'll catch you all again next time. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.